Welcome to Jon S Sports channel, where we do everything League One, Championship and running. And today I'm going to be quick. It's our review of League One, game week 10, and we're going to go in with Huddersfield versus Barnsley. Now, I did a prediction video and a review video midweek, and Tony Cardle says, I don't know what you were on about, saying that Huddersfield were battering away at Birmingham. They could have been like 4 or 5-0 up in the first few minutes. What I was meaning was in the second half, or certain from the before half time and all the way through the second half, Huddersfield showed signs of being able to just sit there in defence and just batter away, keep pushing away at that back end. And that's why Birmingham really found it tough getting shots that weren't from outside the box. As soon as they tried getting shots inside the box, they actually found it quite difficult. And although we know they've been unstoppable, Birmingham, Huddersfield actually showed that there was a way of slowing them down and stopping them from being so possessive all the way through the game and having so many close range shots. And I could see something in there that was just saying that they might just be able to come away with that defence being the crux of this entire game. Now, Ben Wiles and Kasuma were on target for Huddersfield as they stopped that 4-game losing run, and I think that was a really narrow victory for Huddersfield in the light of how Barnsley played. They kept trying to get back, but they just didn't seem to have the run of the green. They always seem to be able to get back into it, and I just think that I look at the 2 goals. The 83-minute one sort of stunned Barnsley a little bit, and I think up to that point it was really quite close. And although Barnsley weren't getting past that really solid defence, they always kept thinking that next sprint into the box, could give them the winning goal. And then, of course, Kasuma on 90+6, and that just killed the entire game off, didn't it? But stats for this were probably about right. 57% possession to Huddersfield, 17 shots, 7 on target, 2 goals. Yeah, that's probably about right. And 44% for Barnsley, 11 shots, 2 on target, no goals. And that's where it comes from, guys. This is where the stats actually do manage to sort of mirror the game. Huddersfield just stopped them from being able to get clear-cut chances in the final sort of third of the pitch. So what did we say? We said Huddersfield 1, Barnsley 1. There's lots of scores both directions and in the middle. To the ones that said 2-1, very well done. You got the closest score there from the ones I've written down, and it was in fact Huddersfield 2, Barnsley 0, and we get nothing for that one. So we go on to the next one, guys, and the next one is Peterborough versus Stevenage. Now this wasn't going to be a close game. Most people thought, yeah, it's going to be Peterborough winning it 1-0, 2-1. There was one person who said Stevenage would win it 2-1, and I think I could see where you were coming from. Stevenage do have an ability to just come from nowhere, and if you actually look at the game, Stevenage made some amazing misses. I mean, some of those they should have been, they should have scored at least 2 or 3 more than that. Some of the misses were just phenomenal. We have, so Poku netted a stoppage time, winner to make sure that was going to be over, done and dusted. But well, let's see. 90+4 minutes officially, but Poku is on fire, isn't he? I mean, top of the scoring league at the minute in League One, doing really well, joint, and I think he's doing really well. you just don't seem to be able to stop him from scoring. Pretty even game up to then, and especially when you consider the number of, I won't say open nets, but clear-cut chances that Stevenage didn't put away. And the stats: 58% to Peterborough. I think it didn't look like that to me in the game. It looked more even. 12 shots, 3 on target, 2 goals. Pretty good conversion rate though. 42% to Stevenage, 17 shots, 7 on target, 1 goal. Yeah, they'd have been hoping for 1 or 2 more goals from that, at least 1 goal extra from that. What did we say? There were people choosing both sides here. Most of you choosing Peterborough. So I went with Peterborough, and I went with a Peterborough 2, Stevenage 1. It was Peterborough 2, Stevenage 1. First correct score of the day. Correct result, correct score. We go to Bolton versus Shrewsbury next, and Bolton versus Shrewsbury is another one of those games. Everybody's saying, oh yeah, 4-1, 4-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-1. And I'm thinking, my God, where am I going to go? 11th versus 23rd. Bolton are on fire. Shrewsbury are not doing too bad. I don't think that the Ian Everett red card can be even considered at 90 plus 9 minutes. Everybody's tired. Everybody wants to just finish the game. I think we just forget that one. So Bolton boss Ian Everett was sent off after the final whistle. So I think, I remember hearing some about they were all arguing going down the tunnel, I think, at that as well. So, it wasn't a very good finish to the game. And stats for this were 71% to Bolton, 19 shots, 4 on target. Now, I would have expected more on target, but especially from a Bolton side that are free scoring, and two goals from those 4. Whereas Shrewsbury got 29% possession, 7 shots, 2 on target, 2 goals. And it was Bolton 2, Shrewsbury 2, and that was totally against the run of play. Shrewsbury did well with the ball when they had it, and they managed to put a real spanner in this one, didn't they? And you just couldn't see. They have to 19 shots and 4 on target is not great, and it's sort of bottom half of League One sort of practice. So did they just come expecting to win Shrewsbury because they were 23rd at that point? Probably. I think it was more a mental issue than a physical issue. They didn't. It's not that they weren't playing good football. It's just that they seemed to be a little bit almost expecting to just railroad them, like we were all expecting them to railroad them. And it's those types of team with that thought in their head that if it's going to go wrong, it will. So we said 3-1 to Bolton. It was 2-2. Nothing from that one. Burton versus Bristol Rovers, and I was looking at this thinking, Burton can't win their first game against Bristol Rovers. They've been doing so well. Bristol Rovers scored 3 second-half goals to come from behind and win this game. I remember the Burton in our watch-along. I remember Burton going ahead and thinking, are they going to? And I said, are they going to win their first game? And I went over and thinking, no, it doesn't look like it. Albion led through Orsi, but then the 3 goals sort of scuppered it, didn't it? The 62% for Burton was really in that first half, when they seemed to be just coming out fighting and saying to the fans, yeah, we can do this. But then all of a sudden the Bristol Rovers seemed to pull back and start going down the wings, and they seem to just turn this a little bit suddenly in their favour, thinking, well, hang on, we're behind, we need to come back. And they came back really well with those 3 goals. Certainly came back better in the second half. So game of 2 halves. Burton 62%, 11 shots, 6 on target, 1 goal. Nah, it's good. You really need to be putting one more in the net with 6. Yeah, sort of like 1.5 goals from that, isn't it? Bristol Rovers 70 for 39%. They got 17 shots, which is bloody good. 7 shots on target and 3 goals. That's slightly better than the average top half team. So they did absolutely absolutely brilliantly. But they have been showing signs that they can do this. And I said on one of the watch-alongs, they'd been just belting the ball forward for quite a while. Then all of a sudden, they decide to play it down the wings and actually attack rather than just sit back and hope they don't let one in, which is their bosses, their managers' usual way of working. And they seem to have changed. Seems to have changed his form, his game plan, and it does seem to be working. Well, I mean, the fans must think it's brilliant because now they're playing football, and it's entertaining football. That game was entertaining, and what did we say? We said Burton Albion 1, Bristol Rovers 3. Guess what? It was Burton Albion 1, Bristol Rovers 3. I got another one right. Yes! That's another correct result and score. Charlton Birmingham, I'd like to know if anybody got this one right, because I tell you what, one of you got it spot on. Well done. You get a gold star. Whoever said Charlton 1, Birmingham 0. Well done. How the hell did you guess that one? I mean, we have to go quick through this one because Birmingham were really on top of this game, and they did seem to control it. But every time I went to this game on the watch along, it got to halfway and then boom, back again. On the other side, up to halfway, back again. And it just wouldn't get past halfway. And occasionally I saw Charlton go through and into the fight. And yes, they're through, you know. And you can see it from the stats. The stats show exactly what we saw when we were going into it in the watch along. Matt Godden scored on 54 to win it. Charlton 1, Birmingham 0. 37% possession, 6 shots, 1 on target, 1 goal. That's all you need, 1 on target, guys, and they scored from it. Birmingham, 63% possession, 3 shots. They never got out of midfield. Or they defence, midfield, and they keep running it along defence. I keep seeing them passing it along. Well, yeah, are you going to try midfield? Yeah, bump midfield, bump back again. Yeah, they controlled the ball, but it never went into the final third. 3 shots, none on target, no goals. Keeping them in at bay at midfield is what Charlton did. You ain't coming past there. We'll just commit a foul and take you out. You know, fine, but you're not going to get past it. And it worked. What did we say? We said Charlton 0, Birmingham 2. It was Charlton 1, Birmingham 0. Nothing from that one, guys. But the person who did say 1-0, wow, well done. We go to the next one, Exeter versus Cambridge. And Exeter, to me, they're in 10th. They've been doing really quite well. And I thought they'd do extremely well against a Cambridge side in 24th that rather than play, we were playing garbage. Cambridge were playing garbage as well. And it looked like it was going to be 0-0 until like injury time in the second half. And all of a sudden, Rotherham won it. First away win in 2 years, nearly 2 years. But, you know, it was a dismal affair from, I mean, to try and watch it would have been, I just feel bad for the fact both set of fans that went down to watch it. And you see this game, and people will say, 2-0, 3-0, 2-1, 3-1. This was a bit of a stick your finger in there. How many are Exeter going to win by? They're in 10th. They're going to win it. How many? I said Exeter 3, Cambridge 1. It was Exeter 2, Cambridge 1. Ryan Wood scored his first goal in almost 7 years to earn Exeter this hard-earned point. It was actually quite a battle in the end, and Cambridge didn't just lay down and die, and they actually produced a pretty decent fight, and Exeter 1, Cambridge 0. You can see from that it wasn't such a walkover. Do the stats point that out? Well, they sort of do. I think the stats are a little bit over edged. They sort of say 56% to Exeter, 44 to Cambridge. I would probably say that's probably a little bit over exaggerated. It's probably a little bit more even. In fact, it's probably as even as the shots were. 11 shots to Exeter, 4 on target, 1 goal. 12 shots to Cambridge, 4 on target, no goals. You know, if you put 4 shots on target, you were hoping in the top of League One to get 1 in the net. Cambridge just couldn't do it. But they have got better. That was a better performance. Well done, Cambridge. I hope that for the fans' sake, it does improve. It does look like it could improve. I hate seeing someone like do what we did up in the Championship and just sit on that bottom, and it's just where you're going to be till the end of the season. I like to see a bit of a fight and a bit of a argy-bargy at all points in the table. I think that they might do that now. I think they might be able to carry on from that. That was a good performance by Cambridge, but it was a better performance by Exeter, a more solid performance by Exeter. Exeter 1, Cambridge 0. I said Exeter 3, Cambridge 1. Yeah, correct result, not correct score, but we did quite well there. And we move on to Leyton Orient away at Lincoln. Now, this is another one of those games that people were thinking, it's not going to be a massive score. But, what, 2 or 3, 1, 2, 3 goals, but nobody's going to score 3. It's going to be 2-1, 2-0, 1-0, 1-2. Everyone was scoring Lincoln above Leyton Orient, and I'm quite surprised because Leyton Orient have been showing signs of sometimes they turn up and do really well. Other times they seem to not quite turn up, and that wasn't the team that had that good performance from the game before. I think this time, Lincoln had to hold off this Leyton Orient side. They did turn up and they did really perform quite well. And, they actually almost caught Lincoln out a couple of times, Leyton Orient. But if they'd have thought quicker, they would have, certainly from 1 or 2 of those corners, they could have actually scored 1 or 2 goals extra. But in the end, great performance by Leyton Orient, just not quite enough to outwit the Lincoln side, who obviously sat in 4th, so they were a little bit more confident, a little bit more high-spirited, and they were at home. They had the extra man with the crowd. I went with most of you saying Lincoln 2, Orient 1, and guess what? It was Lincoln 2, Orient 1. Correct score, correct result. Hey, we're doing well this week. Oh, Mansfield, Blackpool. Can this good run for me continue? Blackpool away at Mansfield. Now, I was listening to all of you, and you were all saying Blackpool with his new manager bounce. It's still continuing, guys. Still continuing, John. They're going to win again. And even all the pundits I listened to as well, I said, I can't see this run ending anytime soon. So I decided to go with Mansfield 0, Blackpool 2, and it was the other way around. My team to watch, Mansfield 2, Blackpool 0. So I got nothing from that, and Will Evans, 8th and 39th minute, and then Blackpool seemed to. It's Mansfield's 5th straight win. Right? I didn't under Steve Bruce. It's Mansfield reeled. Mansfield reeled off a 5th straight win as they ended Steve Bruce's unbeaten league record. So, I didn't realise it was their 5th straight win. until I read the report on it. But they are my one to watch, and yeah, again they won 2-0. I said they'd lose 2-0 to this Steve Bruce onslaught that seems to just be continuing to bounce. Blackpool were very good actually, and I think Blackpool really were were really controlling that game from minute one. If I remember looking in the watch along thinking, it's when are Blackpool going to score here, because they're constantly battering the. I mean, I use that word battering, but then somebody will complain and say they were never in the half at all. But they were constantly threatening those balls into that final third, and constantly getting up there to in the right position and the right just able to release a ball at the right time. And 63% possession to Blackpool, 9 shots, perhaps a little bit fewer than Steve Bruce would have hoped for. 2 on target, perhaps 1 or 2 less than what they would have hoped for. No goals. Yeah, not great statistics. Not bad, but not great. 37% possession, 6 shots, 3 on target, 2 goals. Mansfield were more critical, and they waited for that moment when I think when Blackpool really thought they were on top and they were really good, because in that first half, that's when I saw Blackpool and thought, it's when are they going to score? And all of a sudden, it's 2-0 to Mansfield. I'm thinking, oh, well, that came out of the blue. So we didn't get anything for that one. And we move on to Rotherham Reading. Somebody got out there, got the correct result, 2-1 to Rotherham. I don't know how you did that. I really don't. I really don't. Oh, Lord. And the Esherbishenham sending off was just amazing. Our guy sort of went down. Their guy went down. Our guy went on top of him. And when their guy tried getting up, he pulled him back down again. And Esherbishenham ran 20 yards to run up to our guy, push him over onto the floor to get him off of their player, and got a red card. Well, got a second yellow for it. And I'm thinking, he's done that on purpose. Like he's done it on purpose. That's not right. And a lot of them are saying this Rotherham's second goal. Actually, we pushed over the goalie, but actually, if you look at it, we pushed over the goalie after it had gone in the net, after it had been shot in at the net. So actually, it wasn't a foul before no, it was going in the net and it was going past the goalie anyway. And whether he got pulled to the ground, pushed to the ground or not, it was still going in the net. So it was to me, it was a correct score. Yeah, you would give it that second goal. I think actually the 68th minute sending off for Reading got them suddenly fired up. And up to that point, it had been all Rotherham. And all of a sudden, the rest of that half was just 100% Reading, absolutely 100%. And Rotherham just sort of went back into like frightened kids mode and terrified at the back. And we could have let in at least 2 goals after that, because we were just hanging back far too deep. We're in the lead. Keep pushing them. But no, it didn't. So we went from being just about ahead on possession to finishing up on 47% possession, 17 shots, 6 on target, 2 goals. That's really good top half figures. Reading, on the other hand, started the day in 12th, and they got 53% possession in the end, most of it from 63 minutes onwards, and absolutely like nearly 100% from then. And I'm not kidding. And 10 shots, 1 on target, 1 goal. They are quite clinical when they get that shot on target. They're one of these teams that seem to look and think, no, I'm not just going to belt it, I'm going to place it in the net. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like Reading's front line. They don't just belt it, they place the ball, which means as a fan, it must be really good to watch because we're going forward, He's going to lay off a shot, he's going to place it, and there's a good chance it's going in the net if it hits the target. Which, okay, not enough on target, but the ones they do get on target are bloody good and very clinical. So Reading lost, but I think it was a damn good performance, especially when they went down to 10 men. What did we say? We said Rotherham 1, Reading 2, and there were scores all the way. There were scores all around. I followed only probably one or two people that said Reading would win. Unfortunately for them, fortunately or unfortunately for me, whichever way you look at it, it wasn't 1-2. It was Rotherham 2, Reading 1, and Rotherham won, so that wasn't a correct result for me. Stockport versus Wigan, and Stockport Wigan. Some people saying 0-0, 0-1, 1-0, but everybody's saying 1 goal or no goals in this. And Wigan extended their unbeaten run to 6 games with a 0-0 away, a 0-0 draw away at Stockport. And if anybody was going to win this, I actually thought Wigan would be the ones to do it, because although they were 14th going into this, they'd started to develop a sign of we can, and we're okay with our back end. Our defence is brilliant, and we can score 1 or 2. But also Stockport were the same, and you could see the same. Their defence is really good. So you got 2 teams with really excellent defences playing each other, but their front ends aren't as good as they need to be. So that's why people were saying 0-0, 1-0, 0-1. Now I thought either that's going to be totally true, or they're going to realise that and pull more into midfield, and we might see a couple of goals in here. So I said I threw my joker in here and went Stockport 2, Wigan 2. And I get a correct result, because it was actually Stockport 0, Wigan 0. Well done to the ones who said 0-0. You got that one correct. I just quickly look at the stats, because this really was an even game. It's 51% to Stoke and 50 to Wigan, but 49 to Wigan, but you can't really count that. But 13 shots by Stockport, sorry. Only 4 on target and no goals. And I'll be saying Stoke all that time, I hope not. And and Wigan, 3 shots, 1 on target, no goals. It was just a case that the 2 defences just did do what we thought they would and just cancel each other out. And the front end, no matter how much they tried to lay off a shot, it was that the defences are really, really sturdy in those 2 teams. Stockport and Wigan, if you can get some firepower up front, the rest of the season could be quite an interesting season. So we go to our last 2 games, Wrexham versus Northampton, and everybody's saying it's going to be a Wrexham win. 4-1, 2-1, 2-0, 3-0, go, blimey. I went with a lot of your 2nd place Wrexham against 19th place Northampton at the opening time of the day. I went with Wrexham 2, Northampton 0. It was Wrexham 4, Northampton 1, but when Northampton equalised, I actually thought that Northampton did a good job of nipping in, getting the goal, and then coming back and trying their best to batten down the hatches, but they just didn't do it, and that back line, that back 5 line of Wrexham's again in place. I think once they'd let that one in, they weren't going to make that mistake again. And at the front, they've got such good firepower that it just showed. The difference in class was just obvious. 59% possession to Wrexham, 41 to Northampton, 15 shots for Wrexham, 8 on target, 4 goals. Ouch. That is damn good conversion rate, isn't it? And that is actually probably quite in line with the game. 41% possession to Northampton, 14 shots, 6 on target, 1 goal. It does show you that back five defence it doesn't stop you from shooting, but what it does do is it tends to stop those really easy. Well, there are no easy shots, clear-cut shots. So that back five line is very good at pulling forward and stop it. If you're going to shoot, you're going to shoot from outside the box. Simple as that. So we did get the correct result. We said Wrexham 2, Northampton 0. We thought that Northampton have been getting a better defence going. Not enough to be able to stop Wrexham, but a better one to not get trounced by them. Although one or two of you thought it might. One person thought 4-1. Well done to the person who got the score right. You should have bet on that, because it was indeed Wrexham 4, Northampton 1, and we said 2-0. Correct result, not the correct score. And then that last one, Wycombe versus Crawley. And again, Wycombe have been playing really well. And Wycombe went into this probably as clear favourites. Wycombe made it 7 games unbeaten with a 1-0 victory over Crawley. They just they came out of the blocks quickly, and they managed to find. I think they found it quite easy. It was almost like a stroll in the park, but the result doesn't show. I don't think the result shows the game properly, because although we'd think that by looking at it, Wycombe were in control of this. Crawley actually had 56% possession. They just didn't do much with it. 8 shots to Crawley, 3 on target, no goals, 56 possession. You'd expect more goals, do more with the ball, but they didn't. And the thing that showed through with that in the game is that Wycombe, when they had the ball 44% of the time, they did more with it. Yeah, they only made 9 attempts on goal and 4 shots on target and 1 goal, but they looked better for it, and they always looked like they were going to score when they had the ball. But in the end, what did we say? We said that Wycombe would win. We said 4-1 to Wycombe. We thought it'd be I said it would be an onslaught. So you said one person said 4-2. It was Wycombe 1, Crawley 0. Right result, but not quite the right score. I got 3 correct scores here. 3 correct scores. Absolutely 2-1, 1-3, and a 2-1. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4 correct results. And absolutely brilliant. Thank you for helping me. That's Jon S Sports Channel out for another review. Look out for the prediction video. It's coming soon. Jon S Sports Channel. Why don't you like and subscribe?